Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Sela. Today I'm going to be talking about the Exposure Diablo Mk14 at 2000 lumens. We're going to take a look at what's inside the box. I'm going to be talking about the battery, the usability, the performance, and a bunch of other stuff. So let's get to it. Packaging has always been impressive and the box is very sturdy. I do like the all black actually. And here's a quick look of the light, which we'll get back into in a second. The charger was definitely better than previous models for sure. I don't have to buy the adapter anymore. And we have USB cable, handlebar mount, helmet mount, lanyard, and instruction that has some good information in here. Just want to mention that this takes about 4 hours to fully charge with its own proprietary cable only, and it can also be charged with its own external battery while riding. No USB-C at the moment, and the charging ports on all of my exposure lights have been working or sealing really well for me. Alright, let's talk about the mount. Depends on what helmet I'm using, and I'm referring to the MIPS technology, MIPS design. Some work fine, some may be questioning. POZ designs their MIPS a little differently than Gero. They use a lot of pads to reduce rotational force during impact. And Gero uses two shells that slide. I don't know a whole lot about these, I just read these off the boxes. Alright, let's attach the mount to my POC first. I'm not over torquing it, by the way, and it doesn't need a lot of torque either. I'm checking to make sure the inside bracket is in between the pads. Then just pop the light on and secure it with the provided lanyard. Both my POC seem to work fine. Now I'm mounting it to my Gero Ori Aries. With about the same torque I did to my POC, and the MIPS does not rotate. However, with moderate torque, it is able to move, but still not as freely. One more thing about the mount. While this mount is very secure and easy to be moved from helmet to helmet, there's no place for a full face like this one, and I think Exposure should include a GoPro mount with it. That should be standard now. They do sell GoPro mounts separately, but it's just, I don't know, it's just annoying for users to have to do that. However, I can see that the included handlebar mount is useful in certain cases. If I go for a ride that turns too dark later, and if I don't want to carry bigger lights with me, this just slides into my bag, my pocket, or on my handlebar, and it can fit a majority of bars. That's very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. The light weighs about 100 grams with the mount, and it's about 4.5 inches long, 1.5 inches in diameter, and about 1 inch for the width, which puts out a really good amount of light. We'll get to that. I don't notice anything much on my head. Overall, it feels very comfortable. Aesthetic is more of a personal preference, and I did talk about this once several years ago when I reviewed the Exposure Strata SB. But I really like the simple and retro design, the fuel gauge in the back glass, the etched logo with timetable that has all of the programs and modes. It's very handy to remind myself what's what. And there's just so much to go on, but I'll stop here. So aesthetic for me, it is awesome. As far as quality goes, exterior-wise, nothing to critique about. In fact, there's a lot to admire. Out of all my cycling accessories, Exposure lights are easily some of the most perfect cycling products that I have. And that means a lot. Every Exposure lights I have purchased, the Strata, the 6-pack, now this Diablo, no flaw to be found on these whatsoever. Quality control is off the hook. So perfectly spotless on the outside. Let's talk about functionality. There's a lot to talk about. So there are 9 programs, and they're known as OMS, Optimized Mode Selector. The light only has one button and one LED with several different colors that tell both the mode and the battery life. Here's the list of all of its color indication. Press it once to check the battery status. Press and hold to choose the program. For example, if I want to select program 3, I'm going to hold and release after the 3rd flash. Now I'm on program 3. Double press to turn on the light, and single press to cycle to different modes within the program. While the light is on, I can press and hold the button for a little bit. That will activate the flash mode, and that works with all of the programs except in program 7 is replaced with the Morse code for SOS. Last thing to note, the light will flash to let you know that the battery is at 10% or less, and it's going to continue to do that until it's plugged back in. Let's talk about the tap function. Select program 9, tap once, twice, or 3 times to set the sensitivity. And I need to do that kind of fast because it only stays on for about 2 seconds or so. Since we're on the tap function, I just want to mention that I won't be demonstrating this while riding, as I much prefer clicking the button with my finger. To turn it off, go to program 9 and tap it 4 times again. Do this quickly. Beam pattern and lumens are just as important in my opinion, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about the runtime to output ratio. So here are the list. I'm going to go over the lumens, the runtimes, the percentage ratio on most of these programs, modes, and I'll talk about the light pattern after. 1 hour for 2000 lumens. Don't go anywhere yet. If you think it's too short, I did too, but at the end of this video I might be able to show you why it isn't. So we'll just call it 100% of full brightness. The light is directly proportional, so 2 hours for 1000 lumens at 50%. And there's a couple of ways to find out how many lumens based on the runtime. So here's one way. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3 hours, I rounded up to about 670 lumens at 34%. 5 hours, 400 lumens, 20%. And 6 hours is about 330 lumens at about 17%. Let's compare the Diablo to my Exposure Strata SB at 1500 lumens. I reviewed this light several years ago and consider one of the widest road lights I've owned. A really wide beam and no hotspot on this one. Turning on the Diablo at 2000 lumens, not as wide but still plenty of spread, and this throws the light much further. I see little to no hotspot at all. And here's a back and forth comparison between 1500 and 2000 lumens. Exposure Strata at 1000 lumens. Diablo is also at 1000 lumens. Alright, let's get on the trail. This is considered to be a blue trail, and I'll be showing you one continuous run with the Exposure Strata SB, the one that's on my handlebar at medium brightness throughout the video. I don't want it too bright that it doesn't show the effect of the helmet light. And the Diablo will be in 3 different modes: 670 lumens, 1000 lumens, and highest at 2000 lumens. Actually, this clip I didn't turn on the helmet light at all. There's a few sections here that are kind of narrow and tight, and there's no reason for me to be brave, so I'm gonna turn on the Diablo now. And this is the 3-hour mode, about 670 lumens. It's actually not bad at all. Now I could see the trees better, and I wasn't losing as much in front of me when I turned the bar. And here switching to the 2-hour mode at 1000 lumens. It's only about 300 lumens increased in brightness from earlier, so it's hard to notice the change in the video. But after repeating this section once at 670 lumens, my eyes were not working as hard, and I was very comfortable with things around the corner and with the pace as well. Here is the obvious change, going from 1000 lumens to 2000 lumens. Now that is bright. I can just run this light by itself without the ones on my handlebar. In fact, here's one by itself. Actually, that's only 670 lumens. Here's 2000 lumens. I want to talk about the light pattern one more time quickly. The width, meaning how much the light spreads to the sides, and the throw, how far it reaches. They really balance each other out. Notice as I turn my head to see the trail, I could still see my surrounding very well. But of course, when I added the handlebar light, once again, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. Keep in mind that the handlebar light is only at medium brightness. For the trails that I ride, I find the sweet spot at around between 1000 to 700 lumens that lasts for 2 to 3 hours. So I would like to see one more program that has 1, 2, and 3 hour modes in it. And the 2000 lumens is just overkill for this trail, or any blue trail I think. But it's always there to use when I'm on unfamiliar trails. So as far as duration, for most of us, we should be able to go on a 2-hour ride comfortably and still have some battery left. I'm saying a lot of things, and I just want to recap all those things back. Let's start with the mount. The mount is very sturdy and very comfortable when it's mounted to my helmet, and I like how it's able to move from helmet to helmet as well. But the package itself lacks of additional action camera mount, and also depends on which helmet it is mounted to. The MIPS design may or may not work. In my case, I find that both my POCs work well, but not on my Giro Aries. I do like the included additional handlebar mount. Again, very thoughtful. Aesthetic and quality, I've talked about that earlier, simple and unique, and I enjoy it a lot. As far as functionality, this light packs so much stuff in it, especially with all of the programs that are on here. There's so much to choose from, but I find myself being in programs 1 and 5 most of the time. The rest are probably just there for emergency use only, which is still a good option. But again, I still want to have the additional program that has 1, 2, and 3 hour modes in it. Lumens and beam pattern are important to me. This light has very little to no hotspot, and that's because it spreads evenly with a good amount of throw. For Blue Trail, this one I'm riding, or trails that are similar to it, I'm comfortable with the 1000 to 700 lumens, which lasts for 2 to 3 hours. Weight and size are light and small enough to go on anything really. As far as the price, at the time of this review, this light is going for $265. That's all the information I could think of. Now I want to know from you, what light or lights are you running? What trail are you riding on? Other than that, keep it safe. See you guys next time.